We got a lot of basketball to talk about, though.
Yeah.
So, guys, we're now officially, everyone's got double-digit games. We're a little bit into the swing of things. I think it's safe enough to talk about, we know who the top 14 teams are, 15 teams are, something in that range. Is that it? Tommy, does it go all the way up to 20?
No, definitely not. I don't think in any sport at any point in the season would I comfortably go to 20. But yeah, I mean, you kind of try and focus in on who those open division teams are. And I think those teams sort of starting to surface themselves.
Yeah. So football changed it to 4 this year for the open division. Basketball still at 8.
Stays at 8.
So we're still talking about an 8-man open division right now, and some combination of these teams occupy the top 10 right now. Saints, Torrey Pines, Mission Bay, Foothills Christian, Country Day, Poway, Parker, San Marcos, Vista, Montgomery, SFC, Cathedral, RBV. That's where we start getting, it starts widening out a little bit further with some combo of Saints, Torrey, Mission Bay, Foothills, Country Day maybe is what we really need to focus the first part of this discussion on. We'll start Aaron, and then we'll go Tommy. Anything there surprise you, or is it right just where you thought it would be right now?
I'm a little surprised with the lack of chemistry of Mission Bay at this point.
Okay.
This is a team that's been together for 3 years. I mean, these are guys: Jay Norton, Boogie Ellis, Savon Davis, Lonnie Ladding, Andre Scott. They've been starters or key players on this team for quite some time. And it just feels like watching the last couple games against Rancho Christian, against Chino Hills, obviously 2 really good teams from the southern section, but it just seems like they're just slightly out of sync.
Well, you bring up those quality southern section games, Tommy. The last couple of days or weeks we've seen the Beach Bash with them playing Rancho Christian and big tournaments of put us into context, Tommy, because you see some of these southern section teams on the podcast that you host. How big of challenges are these teams for San Diego? Are they really truly matching up with the best possible content they get?
I would say this. I would say especially Rancho Christian, who's Devin Uglund, who does our Southern Section 1, has him at number 2 right now. And number 2 in Southern Section is pretty crazy. If you're 1 or 2 in Southern Section, you're probably the best in the state. Sierra Canyon is front runner to win state this year, so if they come down, you play them. That's tough. Damien, who's down here for a tournament. Very good team. They're in the top 10 for Southern Section as far as we're concerned. So if you're hanging with those teams, it's a good sign. Not only is it a good sign for you in San Diego, but when you get seeded for states, it'll help you out. So
it's something where, yes, they take a little bit of hit. They seem a little out of joint, but you're ultimately saying to me, Tommy, that this is okay for Mission Bay to lose within 10. I disagree. I disagree. That's good TV. Roll with it.
I disagree because I watched that Rancho Christian game. I felt like that was probably the best shot that they could give Rancho Christian. And granted, it was close. Rancho Christian didn't play great that game. And Rancho Christian has 2 really high-impact transfers waiting in the wing. So when they get Dominic Harris and they get Jaden Simpson into the lineup, what was a 5-point game could very well be a 25-point blowout when they face them, if they make it to the open division in state. And the Chino Hills game, I mean, they were down 19-20 for most of the game, until making a push in the 4th quarter, and Boogie Ellis was 4 for 23 entering the 4th quarter. I get it. Anybody, if there's anyone who's seen a lot of these teams and the players in these teams over the past few years, it's me. So I know who they have, and I know who Mission Bay has, and I know that if Mission Bay were on the same page, that these games would be a lot closer. But right now, I'm just saying, the chemistry that they had last year is not present.
Let's talk about the other team that was battling at the beach, and that is La Jolla Country Day. 4 years ago, they were a Division II team that started off the season relatively unknown, but when 18 wins to start off that season, they win the Division II title. Now they are perennially in the conversation in the open division, but this is the senior season for that freshman squad that was so talented. At number 5 right now in the majority of the polls, what do they need to do based off of what you saw on Friday or in the first part of the season? Same question goes for you, Tommy. What does Country Day need to do to crack into legitimately contention for this top 4 spots?
I would say just wait. They have 2 freshmen who are playing pretty big minutes, and you know how it is when you're a freshman playing.
I don't.
Well, but
I was sitting on the bench.
If you're a freshman playing with varsity, there's I'll give you about a month of jitters before you really settle in. So I think as those kids get older and as the team kind of gels together, they'll be fine. But I mean, it's a team that has a lot of high impact players. Obviously, I've been talking about them for a while now.
They got to get healthy too.
Okay.
Jason Taylor's been out for 3 weeks now. He broke his.
Congratulations also to him though, committing on to Tufts.
Jumbos, go Jumbos, yeah. He's been out with that broken bone in his wrist or hand, and that really hurts him because that takes away their only player above 6'4".
6'10".
Yeah, a bona fide rim protector. Without him, it's been kind of open season in the paint against Country Day. Teams have just really racked it up and from 15 feet and in. And that Damian game was no exception. Damian opened it up a little bit from three, but really what they were doing was missing shots, offensive rebounds, putbacks, and with Jason back in the lineup, I think that changes things. Will they be able to crack into that top 4 conversation? Get a home game?
Yeah, a home game. Yeah, basically.
I mean, it's going to be tough. Those 4 teams, I think, if there's a point of separation within the top 8, it's right there at 4. Because I think Foothills actually could make a move if Mission Bay doesn't get it together, and if Torrey Pines, doesn't find a playmaker to complement the Popes. I can see Foothills moving up to number 2.
Okay.
Because they've got the strength of schedule. They're going to play those big games. They're probably going to get tested, but ultimately will prevail in the Coastal League. Country Day may just be kind of lodged in that 5th spot, but they've also got to watch out for Parker, who's going to be like hot on their heels too.
Fair enough. Rounding out the rest of that conversation, like I mentioned previously, some combo of Parker, Poway, San Marcos, Vista, Montgomery, LCC, Cathedral, RBB. Give me just 2 or 3, 1, 2, a small number of teams that you sort of think are really exciting to you in that list. We'll start with you, Aaron.
Surprise would be Poway. I had Poway just outside of my top 10 to start the year.
Tighten up.
Yeah, they've moved, firmly into my top 10. They're at 6th to start this week in my top 10. Adam Severe, big time gamer. He's been playing really well. That would be the biggest surprise. I think the other surprise is Rancho Bernardo.
Going through people, man.
Yeah, they've had some pretty big wins. If you watch them play, they don't play a very aesthetically pleasing style of basketball. Roman Wright, however, has become a very, very potent playmaker. Didn't start, was a reserve that was seldom used last year. Has been thrust into a starting role, and he's the star on that team. Yeah. So those would be my 2 surprises. And of course, they're both from the Palomar League, which, shouldn't come as a surprise.
I'm going to go with another North County team. I'll go with Carlsbad. Chase Murray's been playing really, really well. They don't even have Jalen Nelson yet. They'll get him after Christmas. So Merry Christmas to the Lancers. And they're a great team. They've got a great team. We had them on a radio show. You should definitely go listen to it, by the way.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, that's a team that I did not have on my radar necessarily to start the season, but now they're definitely on it. They could sneak into that 8th spot for open division. They could.
Well, I don't think they can because they're a Division 2
Division 2, I'm sorry, they can't.
But they'll be one of the top 2 teams in D2.
They're my favorite for Division 2, sorry.
Yeah, I would agree.
Dude, D2 is always actually a fun division to watch.
It is. Because, D1 is basically the NIT. I mean, it's like 9th through 24th. So these D2 teams, these are probably the 10th, 11th best teams in San Diego.
So I'm going to say SFC. I just will never sleep again on SFC basketball. I apologize. It's been 2 years of me doing that. Yeah, my bad. San Ysidro, though. They just won the Imperial Tournament. They're going to be a team that is better for a couple more years to come after this. Mm-hmm. So this is all kind of icing on the cake this season. But man, look out!
It's Rains and Dudley, man.
They are my Mount Miguel pick from last year. They are the team that I'm like, I'll take an early flyer on them right now, and I will watch that stock rise and rise and rise, and you'll see them in the top 10.
What's really interesting too about that league that they're in is like that they're in the lower part of the Mesa League, of the Metro Conference. It's the South Bay part. But the 3 teams at the top, Sweetwater, San Diego Southwest, San Ysidro.
It's a rebirth, man.
Yeah, those 3 could probably be the top 3, if not, part of the top 5 of the Metro Mesa Conference. It's
a rebirth.
Definitely.
And when you got a freshman averaging 24 and 8.8, That's pretty good.
Yes, it is.
I mentioned something that happened from last week, the win in the Imperial Tournament. We talked a lot about it last week. Let's get to game balls.
Okay.
Let's kind of shotgun through those and get the people just the bullet points. Tommy, you want to deliver yours
Yeah,
first?
I'll go with mine first. I'm going to start with Clyde Harris at Oceanside, 23 points and 12 rebounds in their assists over Packers. We talked about that game a little bit last week. Atticus Acosta from Hilltop, 37 points against O'Farrell, 37. Impressive against anyone. And Elijah Randall at San Marcos, 35 points, 10 rebounds against Damien. And you do that against Damien, that is no joke. That is a very, very good team. We just talked about them. That's impressive.
Yeah, that kid's been on a tear. I mean, he had 25 and 22 against Steel Canyon. Had a triple.
25 and how many?
22 rebounds. That's insane.
Has he been catching bodies?
Yeah. No, he doesn't. You know, he's kind of a, you know, his.
I don't know how to accurately use that yet.
His ground game is good.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he had a triple double against Vista.
Nice.
Yeah.
Box him out, man.
Yeah.
Game balls for you?
Yeah, Zach White, 30 points and a 63-62 win over San Diego. I got to see it live. It was really impressive stuff. I mean, he's one of the more underrated guards. Let me look at my other game balls because I had them written down in my handy dandy phone.
As long as it's not a BlackBerry, man.
John Woodworth, 31 points against for Rock Academy against San Pasquale Academy.
Okay.
You know, the Rock has been down for a number of years. This year they're 6-1, and Woodworth, a freshman, is averaging 25 points a game for them. So, you know, kudos to him. And then I got to give a game ball to Ryan Langborg, 2,000 points, eclipsing that barrier for La Jolla Country Day. Big time game and a loss against Damien, 32 points on 20 shots. That type of efficiency, I'll take it any day of the week.
Yeah, that's you can take that to the bank and cash it. I'll give just some team game balls out. Haven't talked about Grossmont yet, really this year.
8-3.
Yeah,
they're really good.
Exactly. They got a win over Granite Hills, playing some defensive ball, really shutting down the Granite Hills offense. We haven't talked very much about Hoover, other than what will they be this season? Who will they be? We don't know exactly what they look like. They got a win over Santana this week to start getting some W's. Like we said, teams are just now finding their identity, just starting to coalesce. Things are starting to come together, but shout out to them. Olympian, big win, buzzer beater 3. Elton Baptist over Mount Miguel. That's cool. Did you ever get one of those done in your career?
I actually airballed the game winner.
Nice.
Baseline turnaround jump shot, no good.
How much time was
Oh,
left?
man.
Time was expiring.
Okay, so you had to shoot it.
Yeah, the LA Times actually had, you know, Aaron Bergen, who did not score.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's 0.
Oh, I am so sorry that you brought that up. We'll move on.
0
Wait,
points.
was that Eric Sondheimer production?
No, it was Paige Leach. I remember it very well. 0 points, 13 rebounds. She didn't mention those, though.
My last game ball goes out to the Claremont Chieftains, a 60-59
Surprise win.
over, a surprise win over LCAP, man. Good for them. All right, so normally these two give you really in-depth quality basketball analysis. Right now, we're not going to get that. We're just going to give you more of the quick bullet points.
Shotgun, set,
I didn't prepare a single one of these game ball or these game predictions yet, so we're gonna test their on-the-fly gas baggery. First game we got, guys, Helix Bonita Vista, coin toss this game.
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna pick Helix. Bonita Vista, been on a little bit of a slide since, you know, that game against Mission Bay.
But that's a resume thing that you can hold on to all season long, probably.
Yeah, you know, almost beating Mission Bay at your place, that's great. But then you drop one to Morse and San Diego Southwest. You know,
just talking about San Diego Southwest being good, though.
Yeah, but then you lose some Morse.
All right, so then don't lock Southwest into that.
Okay, but still, I think Bonita Vista is a team right now. They've got to kind of get back to the basics.
All right, so you got Helix, Tommy.
Helix as well. They got some younger kids playing minutes, some good sophomores. I'm gonna go with the Islanders.
We talked about Poway in our top 10s. They got Escondido this week. Do you see an upset there for Esco, or is this Poway's game?
It's going to be Poway's, but I think it's going to be a closer game than people expect. Esco's got a team that plays some pretty good defense. Jacob Hutchison, Jacob Sauls is a good player, 6'5" wing that they've got. You know, not a lot of big names, but you know, when you have a coach like PJ Baldwin, you're always going to play well. But Poway right now is playing at a different level, and so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Tommy?
I'll go with Poway too. 10-2 so far this season, off the hot start. A team that I did not expect to be this good. They are, so I'm not going to let them keep proving me wrong. I'm just going to can't beat them, join them.
RB and Ramona. Aaron.
Rancho Bernardo, Ramona, a young team, a relatively young team. I just feel like RB right now, defensively, and what they do on offense will be just enough to get it done. But I think they're going to win this one by 15 to 20.
Yeah, I got RB too. I hate to be boring, but they're one of the teams that's just about to crack top 10 for the UT. Ramona's nowhere near that list, so I got to go with Rancho Bernardo.
Coming up later this week, we got Sage Creek and Valhalla.
That's an interesting game. A week ago I would have said Valhalla after beating San Isidro in the Marin Melee. I thought that was.
Yeah, it's a 7-4 Sage Creek. It's a 5-2 Valhalla.
That's a coin toss. I will give the benefit of the doubt to Sage Creek in this one. I've seen them play. They've got good size up front, and I think that's going to be the thing that's going to get them over the hump. As long as their guards can contain one Dominic Safarda.
Tommy, you going with Dominic Safarda?
Dominic Safarda, yeah, I'm trying to read his stats right now. 25.3 points per game. I will take that to the bench.
He's picking Valhalla.
That has been banked, actually. That has been taken too. We'll go small school game. Victory Christian Pack Ridge.
Ooh. I'm gonna go Pack Ridge. They've played relatively decent basketball. They're 6-6. DJ Gay has Victory Christian going 5-3 right now, but they just got walloped a couple of games ago by Monte Vista team. They lost that game, I think, by 40. Larry Oldham, Christian Ubochi.
And Tommy, you've given game balls out to Larry Oldham the third this season.
And Christian Ubochi, a sophomore, he's averaging, I think, 14.5 points and 15 rebounds a game. Very impressive. But Pack Ridge, I think they're a little deeper. It's going to be an egalitarian effort. I think they get it done.
Yeah, Oldham is averaging 23.3 points per game. Wilson's averaging 14.8. I'm going to go with Pack Ridge, though. I just think they've played a tougher schedule, and I think especially... You can't really look at the records in situations like that, so I'm going to go with Pack Ridge.
Last game, we got Monte Vista and Mira Mesa. We have not talked a ton about Noah Tumblin yet in the basketball sense of it. We've talked plenty of him in the football sense of it.
Oh, I've seen plenty of Noah this earlier this year in basketball. He's
good.
He's
very good.
He's back, and I'll tell you what, there are very few kids who can actually come off a football field and just reacclimate themselves to basketball as quickly as Noah Tumblin has. I mean, I think his second game back was against San Diego, and he had 25 points. The very next day, he had 34 against Mount Miguel.
Exactly.
So I'm going with Mira Mesa just because of star power of Tumblin and Jeremiah Brown, who had 43 in that game against San Diego. I think that's going to be a lot for Monte Vista.
I'm going to go with Mira Mesa too, and Noah Tumblin's like my shining example for why I think kids should play more than one sport.
Agreed.
It helps a lot when you play a bunch of different things. You don't get flustered when you haven't played in a while. You just throw it out there. Your athleticism takes over.
Yeah.
I've got Mira Mesa, and everyone should play more than one sport. I give him out there.
We need to convince Noah to play baseball in the spring. He's been
still
thinking about that. He'd be a very good center fielder. Just running balls down all the.
I heard he pitched when he was younger.
All right.
Anyone who puts.
Let me tell you this: pitching is a waste of athleticism.
You're always on your high horse about a pitcher's athlete.
We're all athletes, but it's a waste of that level of athlete. Okay, there's a difference between him and me. Just a little one. There's a difference, though. But yeah.
All right, no, you heard it here first. We're gonna see.
Oh no, he's been hearing it since training camp.
All right.
He's been hearing it since training.
You're gonna be on the baseball diamond in March, right?
Yes.